BingX, a trusted global crypto exchange. Trade spot, futures, or copy top traders easily. Sign up via the link or referral code to get 30 USDT instantly, plus up to 1,500 USDT in bonuses for verification, deposit, and trading.
Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara is set to make a historic visit to the White House on Monday, marking the first official trip by a Syrian leader to the United States since the nation gained independence in 1946. The high-stakes talks with President Donald Trump are expected to heavily focus on the desperate plea for a complete removal of all remaining sanctions that have severely crippled the war-torn Syrian economy. Al-Shara, who ascended to power following the successful toppling of the long-standing ruler Bashar al-Assad by his Islamist rebel forces late last year, has been actively engaging with the American president in a concerted effort to overturn the extensive economic restrictions that have been in place throughout the devastating 13-year civil war. His administration argues that these sanctions are no longer justifiable given the current landscape. Ahmad Zaidan, al-Sharia's media advisor, explicitly stated to the Saudi-owned broadcaster Al Arabiya that the paramount objective on al-Sharia's agenda is the repeal of the Syria Civilian Protection Act of 2019. This landmark legislation imposed sweeping sanctions targeting egregious human rights abuses perpetrated by Assad's regime during the brutal conflict. This upcoming meeting follows a previous encounter between President Trump and the Syrian leader last May in Riyadh, held on the sidelines of a Gulf Cooperation Council summit. Even then, President Trump offered a notably positive assessment of al-Shara, describing him to reporters as a young, attractive guy, tough guy, very strong past fighter. Following that initial meeting, President Trump initiated a significant shift in U.S. policy, ordering the lifting of most sanctions. However, the Caesar Act, with its particularly stringent provisions, remains on the books and requires congressional approval to be permanently rescinded. It is worth noting that al-Shara, who as a militant leader once had a $10 million bounty placed on his head by the U.S. government, previously led Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS, the rebel group instrumental in the military campaign that ultimately ousted Assad. Just this past Thursday, Washington spearheaded a successful vote within the UN Security Council to quash UN sanctions, specifically targeting al-Shara himself. Furthermore, in September, this former jihadist, who had prior affiliations with al-Qaeda, achieved a remarkable milestone by becoming the first Syrian president in decades to address the United Nations General Assembly in New York. During that influential summit, al-Shara articulated his vision, stating at a gathering on the sidelines, "We have a big mission to build the economy. Syria has a diverse workforce. They love to work. It's in its genes. So don't be worried. Just lift the sanctions and you will see the results." The sheer scale of the challenge facing Syria was underscored by a World Bank report in October, which provided a conservative best estimate of $216 billion for the cost of rebuilding the nation. In a development widely anticipated, the U.S. State Department on Friday officially removed al-Shara from a terrorism blacklist during his visit to Washington. The Syrian president is also expected to formally join the U.S.-led coalition actively combating the Islamic State group. This proactive engagement comes as Syria itself has recently undertaken nationwide preemptive operations targeting its cells. The Interior Ministry reported that Syrian security forces conducted 61 raids, resulting in the apprehension of 71 individuals and the seizure of significant quantities of explosives and weaponry. Amidst this period of rapidly warming relations, State Department spokesperson Tommy Pigott highlighted that al-Sharia's government has been diligently meeting U.S. demands, including cooperating in efforts to locate missing Americans and working towards the elimination of any remaining chemical weapons. Pigott emphasized that these conciliatory actions are being taken in direct recognition of the demonstrable progress achieved by the Syrian leadership following the departure of Bashar al-Assad, and in contrast to over 50 years of entrenched repression under the Assad regime. He further suggested that the removal of punitive measures would foster greater regional security and stability, alongside the promotion of an inclusive, Syrian-led political process that is intrinsically Syrian-owned. Al-Shara and his entire delegation have been meticulously cultivating an image of moderation, presenting themselves as architects of a new era of peace and prosperity for their war-weary nation. After 13 years of devastating civil conflict, and signaling a commitment to constructive engagement with regional powers. However, reports indicate that the Israeli government harbors reservations about a complete lifting of U.S. sanctions, believing it would significantly diminish Washington's crucial leverage in its dealings with Damascus. Despite the formal state of war that persists between Israel and Syria, and Israel's continued occupation of the Syrian Golan Heights, President Trump has publicly expressed optimism regarding the potential for normalized relations between the two countries. This comprehensive report draws upon contributions from Agence France Presse and Reuters.